Closed captioning for Lakeland Currents is supported by the Minnesota Department of Commerce, Telecommunications Access Minnesota, and Nisswa Tax Service. Nisswa Tax Service, tax preparation for businesses and individuals. Across from City Hall in Nisswa and online at nisswatax.com.
Well, good evening and welcome to Currents on Lakeland Public Television. I'm not Ray Gildow. I'm Dan Hegstead. I'm the manager of our facility here in Brainerd. Ray is off tonight. He teaches basketball, coaches basketball, and that's where he's at tonight. So go Cards. Our guests tonight, to my immediate right, Bill Brecken, the director of the Center for Lifelong Learning at Central Lakes College, and to his right is Dr. Larry Lundblad, who's the president of Central Lakes College. So welcome to Currents. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
We're going to talk primarily about the Center for Lifelong Learning, and as it relates to CLC, there's some interesting things going on over there. I keep trying to cut back on all the things I do outside of work, and I've been pretty successful until I heard about the Center for Lifelong Learning, and I said I need to get involved in that. So I'm not doing too much, but I am working a little bit with the Center for Lifelong Learning. I think it's a great idea. You guys are doing some great things over there. So let me read from the website what it says about the Center for Lifelong Learning at Central Lakes College. It says, imagine a place where you can enjoy personal, life-enriching programs to help navigate and explore the second half of your life. I prefer to think of it as the second third, but, I'm being a little more positive, right? So it says, welcome to the Center for Lifelong Learning at Central Lakes College. Here you will find that place to connect with others making life transitions, seeking enrichments and opportunities for community building. Be inspired by new ideas and direction through classes, seminars, special interest groups, and other events custom designed for people age 50 and better. We invite you to take a look at the opportunities available to you right here in your backyard. So that's the big picture of what the Center for Lifelong Learning is.
I think you've said it all.
That's okay. Well, thank you for tuning in. First of all, Bill, how did you get involved in this? You've done a lot of things in our community, and now here you are at the Center for Lifelong Learning.
Well, Dan, it kind of started for me when I retired the first time back in 2002, that I saw kind of a need for an employment service for people over 50. And for me, it evolved into a support network. And I called some business associates and friends in, and President Lundblad happened to be at one of those meetings. And we started to go down that path, and I came across the concept of a senior college. And to me, that became the perfect platform to meet the needs of the baby boomers and what we're kind of going forward through and changing into.
And so you went to Larry and said, let's do this, or?
Well, I learned that the college had on their strategic plan and long-range plan looking at a senior college.
Okay.
So after I retired the second time, I started doing some more research and seeing what kind of models were out there for doing a program like this. We have been in transition. I'm learning that this is in transition, and we came up with the concept of the Center for Lifelong Learning. We're actually broadening that out, too, and dropping the 50. So whoever is interested in lifelong learning, if it's 35 or 85, can be part of our program.
And what kind of a difference does that make? Will you be offering different programs then, or you're just not consciously focusing on folks?
We're not consciously focusing on that. I think that we saw in my research that I was going into, most senior colleges or lifelong learning programs offer enrichment and exploration programs. Those are programs like I'm interested in history, or I'd like to learn more about learn a language, and so things that they always kind of wanted to do or their interests were. We saw that in my research that there was a need for career and life transitions. So we want to start developing programs on helping people plan for retirement. There are some people that want to work, some people have to work. Mm-hmm. How do we help keep them in the job market and keep them their skills base up so it's competitive? And then there's also the situation that as we transition into this time of our lives, a significant other gets sick. And so we have the health issues that we're faced with. The enrichment part we'll continue with, and that's probably a large part, but then the other part gets to be community building. We want to try to match people's skill set up with volunteer opportunities, and that would give them some different aspects that they could look at.
So those would be people who would actually facilitate a class? Is that what you're
No,
thinking?
they would.
No?
The volunteer aspect would be they might want to. We have Habitat for Humanity, but maybe there's other things that they could do. I came across one gentleman, retired professor up here, that was organizational management. I'm sure that there would be some businesses around there that could use his skills. And so those are the kind of things that we'd want to do, is find what their skill sets were, but bring them into our community, which is going to help build business. Maybe there's economic development opportunities. And then we had a friend of mine came up with the concept of Philanthropy University. Teaching.
What's that?
Well, that's teaching people how to give back, how to leave a legacy. And so that's not giving doesn't always come naturally. Sometimes we have to have some tutoring, so to speak, or have somebody in our life that set a positive example for us.
Okay. The couple meetings I've been to, it's been just exciting to connect with these other people, so bright and full of ideas. Outside the box is a phrase that gets used too often, but
well, one of the things that we've come across is that in this concept of lifelong learning is the relationship building, and that this is an opportunity to find people with similar interests, similar likes that you can start connecting with. And we have a lot of people that are new to our area, that have retired to our area. And this is an area that they can, again, I think the college is a great place for them to connect to, and the services that the college has beyond just the lifelong learning really provides opportunities for us to have a lot of expertise.
The college is a busy place. I know that every time I try and find a parking space.
Yeah, that's
where all
right.
these
We
people
fight
would
the
want
traffic in front during different times of the day.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and that you planted a lot of grass on that parking lot on the south side there. You're going to need to pave that over.
Yeah, that's right.
Larry, tell us about how the college is specifically involved with the Center for Lifelong Learning.
Well, as you know, Central Lakes College is a community and technical college, and the community word in our name is extremely important. And this, the Center for Lifelong Learning is a good example of what community colleges, technical colleges should be doing for the areas that they serve. And as Bill mentioned, we had this center notion on our strategic plan, and Bill was a little bit kind in his comments because we really weren't doing much with it. And the first meeting we had a group of folks in Brainerd invited me to this breakfast, and they said, well, you've got this in your strategic plan, and when are you going to do something about it? And they had the enthusiasm and the passion. And really, this is the way community colleges should work: is the community comes to the college and they say, and says, we've got this grand idea, or we have this need. How can we work together to make it happen? And this is really what's happened. And we're just excited that it's taking off. It ties in with many of our other programs. We have the cultural arts series, bringing all kinds of different venues to the community. Ties in with our student body. It's exciting to have folks coming that are getting engaged with the college, and they certainly can become resources and perhaps mentors in the future to a lot of our students. So we're looking for ways through that third pillar of community building to tap into this group and say, okay, we've got, last year we had over 6,000 unduplicated head count at Central Lakes College. So how can you get engaged and help our students prepare for the future? So we're really excited about this.
Excuse me. This is what happens when you have live television. Bill, tell us about some of the programs. I've seen some speeches. I've seen longer classes. Did I see a performer coming through? What sorts of things do you offer?
We really want to make sure that we bring some uniqueness to the college and some make sure that we have quality coming. So we have brought in some speakers. So we're developing a speakers committee. So if anybody, we want to employ too anybody in the community that would like to get involved or has some ideas to share with us. We'd like to embrace that. And so we came in with some speakers. We've had a couple of gentlemen professors coming up from St. John's that have presented to us. We had Dr. Benson from Bemidji State University has come in. So we want to keep doing with that. But we're doing surveys as we do this so we can find out what people want. Now, Jody Schwen from Country Journal has just kind of kicked off a spotlight on writing. So we're going to do a writing series and have a program a monthly program on that. Today we just had kicked off a health series. With Amy Jamber came in and started doing that in stress and diet. And so we want to kind of keep looking at those areas that people have interest in and provide those kind of programs for them. We've had, just a little side story, a gentleman that was a retired music professor has hooked up in town with a history teacher, and they're in June going to kick off a series of based on history. They're going to take different segments of history and then tie the music to it and do a 6-week series on that. And so that'll be kind of fun to do. So people are coming up with these ideas. They're willing to step forward, give those kind of presentations. We also have found that we're being a catalyst for organizations in town. That there's the Poet Society wants to bring the Poet Laureate to town this coming fall. The colleges are perfect, and the Center for Lifelong Learning a great partner that we can help work with this and promote and just embrace in our community. So the diversity that we're looking at having that looks pretty broad to me and exciting. And the other thing is we have a lot of talent within our community, and we want to look for identifying that. We have people that are seasonal or like people that have real interesting backgrounds, and I think there's a lot of stories just locally that we can tell.
And you mentioned coming up in June, so this will continue throughout the year. It's not just a...
Yeah, when we first started, our goal was to have a program a week. Well, I have a programming committee, and starting in March, we're going to be looking at almost 2 programs a week. But that's important to us, knowing that we don't know what the class sizes will be, but the diversity is important. Having as many programs out there offered as possible. If we could have 60 programs in a semester period of time, I think that would be just tremendous.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, I know. Well, good luck, Larry.
Well, the college, I know, is just a terrific resource. I mean, there you are. You've got the instructors, and just the physical space is so important, too.
Right.
So talk more about the instructors that you have at the college and how they might be involved.
Well, we have a large faculty, very talented faculty, both on the liberal arts side and on the career and technical side, and just good resources. And I know several of our instructors are interested and will be making presentations and that type of thing. And as we start looking at the career aspect of the center, we've got several career and technical programs, instructors available so that we can put together short courses and get someone up to speed and ready to go. I was talking to a gentleman the other day, retired accountant, that's interested in welding. And he's interested in welding from the standpoint of doing welding as art, and so thinking about making creations and that type of thing, and perhaps maybe doing some marketing. So we've got the resource there to do to a multitude of things.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I like that. There is a similar program based in Crosby. I've spoken to that group a couple of times. I'm sure that anybody who knows anything about that group or your group is wondering, how are you similar? How are you different? Are you the same thing? So tell us about that.
Well, Crosby has a program called Unlimited Learning. And quite honestly, it's a model that we've looked at, and they have come out with, they offer a program a month. So they have, again, it's a membership-driven, just as ours would be membership-driven. That gives us the sustainability. And they do try to do one program a month over an 11-month period. And so and which is based pretty much more on the enrichment side of things. So we're kind of looking at duplicating some of that here at the college, and again, but having, as I stated earlier, a little bit broader exposure to some different areas of helping to plan in the transitions. So they have a very good program there, and they have had good success, and we've had, actually there were a number of people from the Brainerd area that were going over there to their programs. Mm-hmm. So we just see that there is an opportunity for us to have some programs here, and because of with the association with the college, we think we can expand upon that and just make it a little bit bigger and broader.
Mm-hmm. As I say, I did a couple presentations for that group, one about public television, and I don't remember the other. But what a great group to speak to, because they're just so engaged. They really want to be there, and they ask such great questions, and it was really a treat to speak.
Well,
and you're getting the same crowd, too.
Well, we are. And I think what you find is that, especially with older learners, they want to be participants.
Right.
And they want to be part of that discussion. And Unlimited Learning's been over there for 10 years. Okay. And so they've established themselves well. They have brought in good speakers all along. So but again, it shows that relationship that they've built. They're, engaged in it, and again, want to, make a contribution.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One of the things I like about this is that I'm interested in everything. There's almost nothing that doesn't interest me, but I don't want to get real deep. But I've never learned welding, but I'd like to learn a little bit about it just so I know how it works. And
it'd be fun to try, wouldn't it?
I'd love to, but I'm not going to go take a welding course. I don't want to do it for a living, but this would be a great opportunity.
But just to be able to sample things and try some different kinds of programs that we want to do.
Talk about the fees now. You've got memberships, but you don't have to be a member to attend, and you get all those questions.
We may see some of our open fees going up a little bit,
okay.
But in my travels and really looking at programs for sustainability, the programs that have a membership program to it seem to be able to, because we have to be financially self-sufficient. They're the ones that seem to be the ones that keep going. And really can maintain quality. Mm-hmm. Again, the college isn't necessarily in this to make a lot of money or anything, so it's really to be able to say, let's provide the kind of program. So we have, in membership level, because we are so seasonal here and we have people that come and go, we have started a seasonal membership, and that's $40 for 4 months.
And it could be any 4 months?
Could be any 4 months.
Not necessarily summer.
But what we have is when you purchase your membership, that starts the time element, so we don't have to do any prorating. And then we have a sponsorship membership, which is 1 year, and then that is $100. And then if you have a significant other that wants to be part of it, it's just another $75. So there's a little bit of a savings. And then we do have 2 other levels. One is at $250, and another one's at $500. There they get 2 memberships for each of that. There's a few extra things that they can get access to in regards to the college and the library. But it allows us, those people just believe in the program itself, and they know that we need some of that extra funding. And then we want to work with our corporate sponsors. We believe that we can promote and our businesses and would help us go with this, because we'll do some marketing. They'll have access to our website. And we want to help bring that to the community also. So we also have some sponsorship levels that start at $100 and can go up to $5,000. And we'll even take more than that. I'm not limited.
As I say at Lakeland TV, we've never had a check too big to cash. But you want to stretch those limits, you go right ahead.
Yeah.
I want to comment on the memberships. One of our staff at Christmas time was trying to think of a gift for folks and decided, hey, a membership to the Center for Lifelong Learning was an excellent gift, and they've been enjoying the gift ever since. So there are some strategies there and some ideas that in terms of how you might use the membership in addition to supporting and being engaged, is give a membership to someone that could benefit.
That's a great idea. I want to mention your website before I ask you the next question here, because if folks are thinking they want to learn more, want to be a sponsor, the thing to do is to go to your website, and then I'll mention this again later if you don't remember. Get a pen, write it down, clcmn.edu. So Central Lakes College, Minnesota, clcmn.edu. And the easiest thing to do is in the upper right, there'll be a search box. Type in lifelong learning. If you type lifelong as 2 words, it'll tell you, no, it's 1 word. So it's 1 word, lifelong learning. But CLCMN.edu is where all the information is. It's a very good website. It tells you what you need to know. So if folks want to get involved, they want to go to your website, they want to call you, they might want to be a student, they might have a class they'd like to present. You'd be the guy they want to talk to. And the website's the way to go.
You might mention the volunteers, too, and the various committees that are involved.
Well, the committees that we have set up so far is a programming committee, and they're the ones that are helping us set up the different programs that we're scheduling and going with. We have a speaker series committee, those that are going to help us find quality speakers that we can bring in and go with. And then we also then have a marketing development committee. And so as we're going with those, and we probably will end up with some more committees, so as we develop this more. But we can use volunteers for any of those kind of programs. And this is a nice opportunity, too, where, you meet some other people and just reconnect and be involved. And the more I've hung out at the college, it's a pretty cool place. I always feel smarter when I'm over there. I walk around and go, this is cool.
Our website is smart. It'll correct your spelling.
So That's right. You mentioned the local connections. We've got resources locally. I've said this to you before. I work as a speaker and trainer, and very rarely does anybody hire me locally. I always go to other places around the state. And it's so true in the speaking business that the further you've traveled, the more credibility you have. And so we talked about this. There are people locally here that we haven't thought about because they're local. It's just human nature. But you are actively seeking those people out because they're right here. Let's take advantage of them.
Yes, we are.
So
it's amazing the number of people that have moved here or have lived here for some time, but just talented folks, individuals with a lot to share, and it's just fun to meet these. I talked to an economist yesterday that has traveled the world over and has moved, to a town near here and is retiring here and is looking for ways to connect. And just a wealth of knowledge and information, and he's excited about getting connected.
I've heard people say people live in the Brainerd Lakes area because they want to, not because they have to, and it attracts some really interesting people. It's good to see you're tapping into that. We were talking about the cost. I just wanted to make sure you don't have to be a registered student at Central Lakes College and go through all that. This is you just pay the fee or
and
pay
there's
at
no
the door.
tests.
No tests.
No tests either.
That's good.
So,
okay.
Yep. So no, you'll just have to pay the membership for the Center for Lifelong Learning and be able to participate then in our programs and speaker series.
Okay. Very good. Do you get college credits for the class?
No, but the college does have a program. If you wanted, you can audit classes. And so you can take actually college classes and audit it, which you don't have to then. I think with that, you don't get tests or graded on.
No, if you audit, no.
But if you wanted.
This is outside the Center for Lifelong Learning.
Right. That's taking, that's within the regular college itself.
Okay.
And some people may, the other thing is some people may want to finish their degree, some people may want to.
Yeah.
And so if we can be a springboard to help them to do that, I always said if there's a class that I would teach is how to fulfill a dream. And I think that's really what we're trying to help people do. Again, the life expectancies we're going to have, I just saw a statistic, I think it's 79.1 years is a life expectancy, but if you live till 80, they're saying that men will live another 7.7 years, And so we have a lot of living to do.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right, Bill. I've read statistics that say that it will not be uncommon to see people 125 years old. Yeah. And so, I'm only half joking when I say for the second third of your life, it could go on quite a ways, and why stop learning?
Well, you got to stay engaged. I mean, that's really the whole key to it all.
Yeah, people are healthier, and as we're saying, living longer, and just the mental stimulation is important just to keep people, as Bill is suggesting, connected and focused and getting the most out of life as they can. So,
now, in the couple minutes we have left, I want you to talk about the partners you have. I read Brainerd Area Environmental Learning Network, Brainerd Public Library, and Community Education.
Yep.
How are you working with those folks?
Well, we want to be a collaborative partner to the community, and people that are serving, again, lifelong learners, which is you've got the Senior Activity Center, you've got Community Ed. The Bayland organization was an interesting organization.
I was not familiar with them. Brainerd Area Environmental Learning Network.
Well, it's the
sounds like a program for currents.
Yeah, and it's what I want to say, the environmental agencies in town that have formed their own collaborative, and so we'll hook up and work with everything. I mentioned earlier the Poets Society. There's writers clubs in town. The library is offering programs, and they've got great programs. So if we can work together and promote each other's programs, it all becomes win-win, and it's just that many more activities that we have. You know, there's a lot of communities, especially when you go down south for the winters, that market themselves, market their senior colleges. You know, their lifelong learning programs. And people are starting to be drawn to that as a draw for those communities.
Well, and we haven't even talked about the Chautauqua tent series and all that. This is very similar to that.
Very similar to that. You know, and Cross Lake has a good Chautauqua program up there. So
it's great.
Yep, we're just all on the cutting edge.
Things are happening here in the Brainerd Lakes area, so we're glad to see that. Well, we want to say thank you to Dr. Lundblad, president of Central Lakes College, and Bill Brecken, the director of the Center for Lifelong Learning at Central Lakes College, and they've been our guests tonight here on Currents. So we want to thank you guys for coming in. Again, your website, clcmn.edu, and look up lifelong learning. So tonight I want to say a special thank you to Dave Henschke, instructor at Brainerd High School, and his students in video production. They're behind the cameras tonight and punching buttons in the back room. We could not do Currents if it wasn't for these guys and their good training, so thank you, Dave and guys. Tom is up in Bemidji, thank you. And Ray will be back in 2 weeks, and his guest on the 1st of March will be Jody Homtvedt, who's Community Vitality Educator from the University of Minnesota. I don't know what that is, but that sounds mighty interesting, so I'd like to see that. All Currents episodes are available on our website, which is lptv.org, so check that out. And thank you for watching Currents, where we're talking about what you're talking about.
You're late.